Hello Southies, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, my name is Cece, and today you are watching a speed build, and this speed build is a little different than anything that I have built on the channel before because this build is meant to be my ultimate dream house. Yes, my ultimate dream house, the house that if I had all the money in the world, this is the type of house I want to live in. This is the stuff that I would like it to have in it. Now you'll notice at the bottom there is a little reference photo. That's because I started this build on stream. It was just sort of meant to be just a random house that I built for stream. But as I thought about it and I was building it up, I thought, why don't I just create the ultimate house that I would like to live in? And the more I thought about it, I decided to do that. And because I'm so freaking indecisive, I sort of secretly managed to get you guys and my Twitter followers, I should say, to help me. So I went on Pinterest and I found examples of different types of styles that I like for living rooms, kitchens, and I think bedrooms. And I had a couple of polls set up for you guys to vote on which ones you thought worked best. And in a couple of the spaces, I did it 100% exactly, or interpret as much as I could. Interpret through the Sims the build, and then I think in the kitchen I did a good mix, and in the bedroom I kind of did an okay mix, and then the rest of the rooms I kind of just sort of freeballed it. My sort of go-to style is sort of like a bohemian type of mix, colorful but sort of toned down colorful, if that makes any sense, making woods and things sort of my neutrals and then layering colors kind of on top. If I can, I'll take a picture of my living room and I will show it to you to kind of give you an idea of what my personal style is. I say if I can, my apartment in quarantine has become an absolute mess. So with no one to invite over, I've kind of let it go a little bit, to be quite honest. So we'll see about that. If not, it's just, my style, like I said, is kind of a bohemian type of vibe, and that's sort of the vibe that I wanted this house to have. So the shape is pretty much set. I'm making a little garage space, and then you'll see me make the house yellow. This is before I decided I wanted this to be kind of my dream house. You'll see later when I start getting into the decorating that I changed the house to white with like reclaimed wood accents. And that's just, whenever I see a house that kind of looks like that or has that vibe, my head is turning, my head is looking, especially on Pinterest. I'm like I'm pinning it to boards all day long. Those type of houses, I'll be honest, don't really look that great in The Sims. The Sims really lends itself to more ornate design, like Victorian style homes, big mansions, that kind of thing. I feel like anytime I build something sort of more simplistic, it doesn't look that great in The Sims, but it looks amazing in real life, especially if I'm using a reference photo to base it off of. So that's kind of interesting. But I am actually going to be utilizing this house. This is a house that I am going to set up for my Sim self and her family in my Happy Messes LP. So I decided, normally I don't really use my builds unless they're like a community lot. Usually for the houses I build them and then I never really use them, maybe in my personal gameplay or in LPs. But I've got a lot of builds that I don't use that are just sort of sitting on the gallery or in my library or just somewhere, and I don't know, I thought, well, let me use this house, and I'm going to put other houses along the row here. So this is in Newcrest. That's where I decided to put them in, and I just figured this feels like really kind of suburban America, whatnot. They're going to end up owning their own business, so I thought that this would be a good spot for them, because the business is in Magnolia Promenade, and I think I'm just going to leave it there and maybe sort of imagine that New Crest is close to Magnolia. They're in the same vicinity, that kind of thing. And so that's sort of my view. As you see, the entrance to the garage, you have to go outside of the house to get to it, and I've already done the floor plan, and I just wasn't thinking. It didn't really set up really correctly, and so I was like, well, I've done the floor plan. I like the way the floor plan is. I don't want to change it. So if you want to go to the garage, you have to go outside. So, but it's just a quick little, jump outside. It's not that bad. Not that bad of a walk. Obviously, in real life, I want my access to the garage to be like through the kitchen or something like that, to where I don't have to go outside. But a design flaw here and there isn't going to hurt anyone. And so here I have some landscaping. So yeah, dream landscaping would be lots of lush flowers and bushes and all that stuff. Reality will probably be a patch of grass that might be alive, especially if I'm still single, because yard work, I get horrible allergies. And so I don't like being outside if I can avoid it. Or if I am outside, I want to be sort of away from anything that has pollen on it or in it or around it. So you're not going to see me hiking in mountainous areas. You might see me running along a trail, but that's about as good as it gets. Or, I could always pay. If I have all the money in the world, I can pay to get it landscaped, right? Pay the little neighbor kids down the street. But yeah, the landscaping does sort of take on different lives as we go on, mostly because the rest of the street isn't complete at this moment. So I was just trying to figure out what type of landscaping I wanted, like what kind of trees do I want. Obviously, I wanted to try and match up the look of the wooded area behind the house, but I also want each house to have their own little unique thing. I will say real quick, some housekeeping. I did post on my Twitter a giveaway shell challenge where I built a shell that is meant to go, so to the right side of the screen, it's meant to go at the end of the block, and I'm gonna have you guys come up with it. It's a pretty simple, well, I won't say simple. It's big. I tried to do it. I tried to work it out. I think I found a design that I kind of like, but it's definitely an interesting build, and I'm interested to see if anybody does it. And but with that giveaway, you do get a stuff pack of your choice, and it is all due on August, I want to say 14th, so about 2 weeks from now. I think I'll post this on the 2nd or the 3rd, but I've been promoting it for about a week on Twitter, so you've had time. Now I am in the kitchen. I love this kitchen, a combination of 3 different photos. If I can remember, I'll post those up. I loved the green counters. I love the sort of simple black backsplash, and I love the idea of a mix between shelving and actual cabinetry. This room probably took the most time. It turned out to be a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be, and I would have made it bigger, but to be honest, if I could just have room to move in a kitchen, it doesn't have to be that big. I don't need breakfast nook or any of that stuff. For me, the heart of the home is wherever the TV is, and generally speaking, the TV is not in the kitchen, so it doesn't bother me that the kitchen isn't crazy big. It's a good size. There's still an island and all that stuff. There are some things that I didn't think to put in it because I always have to remember to put in it, like a dishwasher. So definitely that will be in it at some point, a dishwasher. I love the idea of plants and all of that fun stuff. In theory, in practice, I do have a very precocious little cat that likes to get into everything, and a plant is just not a good look in my house because it will end up being eaten. And so now I'm working on the living and dining room area. I did, when I was player testing this build, realize that my Sims did have a hard time getting to all of those seats. So I do push the back out a little bit to make it easier for them to get around. So fully player tested, ready to go if you want to download my dream home to your game. Now this photo is this room is also based off of a photo that I used, and it's really, out of all the photos that I had you guys vote on, this one was my favorite, and it was everybody else's favorite. So I tried to make it as much like the picture as possible. Obviously I can't 100% do that because we don't have all the exact items, but I did my best to interpret what I would want, and I think I did a fairly good job. It is narrow, so it is a little cramped. I started, for me, as much as I do like watching television, it's not that big of a deal to me. I didn't want a television over the fireplace because that photo that I showed didn't have one, and it just looks perfect the way it was. And so I decided to make the opening to the kitchen smaller and just put a little TV here. And that's kind of a cool seating because it's like either way you look, to the left or the right, there's something there to kind of entertain you, whether you're just looking at the fire or you're looking at the television. And I thought that was a good look, especially since this place does not have a formal living room or anything like that, which I guess in a dream house, I would actually like a more formal living room where it's like where you go to sort of quietly read a book or something like that, and then maybe like a family room elsewhere in the house where there's a television and toys and things for kids to play with. But this room kind of is that, the family room in the main living area, which, realistically is probably just more efficient to live in. And I say this is my dream house. I didn't build a huge mansion because personally I don't understand mansions in real life. I don't understand the appeal. I don't get it. I guess life in quarantine, it would have been nice to live in a mansion instead of a 585 square foot apartment. A mansion probably would have been really nice. Luckily, I have a job that I could go to every day, and I wasn't literally stuck in my house every single day when, quarantine was at its sort of like most strictest. But yeah, I don't get mansions, especially when you have like a small family. Like, why are 3 of you or 4 of you living in this huge house? Like, why do you need all this space? So like, unless you've got like family 6, 7, 10 deep, I don't get mansions. So this house, I don't think I mentioned, is a 3-bedroom house with a downstairs office that has the option to be a bedroom, because I do put a full bathroom connected to the office, mostly because I have the space, and I was sort of thinking, in case you want to make a guest bedroom or make it another bedroom, then you have that there. Now I'm working on sort of the foyer space, and kind of bouncing all over the place. This is probably the most specific way I've ever decorated. Usually I put the big things down first, and then I go back through and clutter up. But because I believe I did all of this on Twitch, I didn't want there to be too much of a headache for anyone that decided to tune in to my Twitch. So I kind of decorated each room full out just to make it easier to watch. And so now I am working on the office. So dream office would be just a bohemian, just fantasy, just cozy, colorful, be able to kind of look out the window as you work on whatever projects you're working on. Just, you know, nice, maybe a place if you had a home business, a place where you can entertain clients that's cozy, that kind of thing. So just a dream. Of course, like I said, this room can also become a bedroom if you need it. I did put doors with sort of glass opening. So if you do decide to make a bedroom, I would suggest, if you want to keep the doors, maybe putting up a curtain and give the illusion that you can close the curtain when you're sleeping or when you're changing or when you're doing anything like that. Simple little laptop to do your work on. Now, I will say, when I go upstairs, I do furnish all of the bedrooms, and you'll see me furnish them for parents, a child, and then a toddler. Well, before I took the screenshots, I had plopped this build into my Happy Messes save file and completely forgot about the fact that I hadn't taken the screenshots. So I got rid of the toddler room because, as you'll kind of see, the current toddler that's in that household is going to age up soon, so I didn't want to have a full-on toddler room, and just in case, because it wouldn't make sense for storytelling. Like, why do you have a kid's room and a toddler room? Are you having another baby? We don't know if they'll have a kid or not. I'm not sure. We'll see. They probably will. But I didn't want it to be decorated and gameplay, so I don't include that room in the screenshots because I forgot about it, and that's that. But you'll see me decorate it, and I use a lot of the eco lifestyle toddler stuff. So now I'm working on the master bedroom, and again, I used sort of reference photos that I had you guys vote on for this. I think I took pictures of this room. This room is kind of a mix of two rooms, more so the last room in that poll, because I love the idea of the wall behind the bed being kind of blacked out. I loved the idea of having that bench at the end of the bed. Now, kind of coming back to the build after a minute, I didn't really like the bench anymore, so I think I got rid of it and just put like a bench ottoman. You'll see in the screenshots if that's what I did. I believe that's what I did, but who knows. But yeah, this whole setup I thought was really cool. I liked the idea of not having twin side tables, like maybe having one side table and then a completely different type of surface on the other side of the bed. I thought that was a really cool idea, like a chair or a cart, or you could do a dresser or something like that. Not have it look so matchy on both sides was sort of my thinking, which is how my bedroom is set up. I've got like a little cart sort of side table, and then I've got a bookcase that's kind of like a desk, but it's older, on either side of my bed instead of two matching side tables. Of course, I put this little thing up here as sort of like a little, I guess like a little get ready makeup station, a little vanity. I tend to do my makeup standing up in the bathroom, which in reality, I probably would do it in the bathroom, like my makeup. But let's say I'm living, with someone when I get my dream house. And they're in there, showering or something. I don't want my face to get steamed while I'm trying to do my makeup. So I probably would leave the room. I put a lot of thought into building, like probably too much. If you follow me on Twitch and you've seen any of my Twitch streams, you know that when I am building something, it's like I'm pretending like it's for a real family or for real people. Like, it's just ones and zeros. No one's actually going to be enjoying this stuff in real life. I enjoy it. So I try to make things look nice. And it's especially kind of funny that I put so much thought into it, knowing most of the builds I don't play in. So why do I put so much thought into it? I take the screenshots, I post it to the gallery, and then I either just leave it sitting there in the world that I built it in, or I bulldoze it and build something else on that spot. And so now I am working on the child's bedroom, and this child, for me, I should say, I like the idea of a very neutral, gender-neutral bedroom for kids. Obviously, when they become, that age where they start picking their favorite colors and stuff, I would definitely decorate a kid's bedroom to fit that. I personally would like to adopt school-age kids, so they probably already have in mind with how they would want their rooms or things to look. But in the meantime, when I'm going through like foster care or that kind of system before I adopt, I will most likely put together a very gender-neutral bedroom that's kind of appropriate for the age range that I'm kind of considering when that stage of my life finally gets to happen. And so that's what I wanted this room to be. I wanted it to, I feel like green and browns and that kind of thing are very neutral. Green just feels like a super neutral color, especially when it's kind of done in sort of a lighter palette. It could go either way. Boys could really like it, girls could really like it. And I also wanted this kid to have more of a science mind. I have more of a creative mind. I think science is super fascinating. I definitely don't have a math mind, but I would love to have a kid that's just like Sheldon, that's super into science. Like, science is their blood, or computers or math or something, to where I look like a dumb idiot because I can't help them with this particular homework. we gotta Google this. Sorry, kid. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. I just, in my mind, just think it's really cute when you have those kind of dynamics in families where you have the parents that are mostly creative, but then one or all of their kids are really science-minded, or vice versa. I just think it's cute because it kind of maybe showcases a side of the parent that maybe they don't tap into, especially if, that child is biological. Obviously, there's that nurture versus nature, so there could be an aspect that maybe the kid just wants to be different than their family and just goes a different route, or likes things that are different interests or whatever. And so now I'm working on the toddler room. Again, this room won't be in the screenshots because I erroneously deleted it or got rid of all the stuff. I might, if I've saved the builds before I did that and saved the file, I might try to find it and include it, but I don't think I did. I think I saved it after I got rid of the room, and because, I don't know, I'm an amateur sometimes. But yeah, mostly eco lifestyle. Well, I say that mostly. I think just two things. But again, gender neutral bedroom for the toddler, especially for babies and toddlers, because they don't know what colors are. Why bother, pimping out a pink centric room or a blue centric room? Babies don't even know what colors are. You got to teach them colors before they can tell you which one's their favorite. So just a neutral palette. And now I'm going to start working on things like the hallway, the garage, the backyard. Oh my gosh, the backyard is so cool. Not quite necessarily what I would want, but close. you'll see it when it comes up. But I definitely want my backyard to have a lovely seating, lovely outdoor dining, and that's what I tried to do. Here on the landing, just a nice spot for extra blankets, extra towels, but done in a very like classy way with this beautiful laundry day side table. And I think that chair comes with Discovery University, and I'm continuing that city living pattern for all of those exterior windows that are in like a neutral zone. And here I'm doing a gallery wall that I did have to go through and kind of change up and fix a little bit. But yeah, I had to keep the walls all the way up because I wanted this wall disappeared when it was down. So that's a question. How do you guys build? I kind of do a mix between walls up, walls down, looking down. I think the easiest way for me to build is to look down on the room and put things that way. It's interesting because I saw a post on Twitter about someone making fun of the Sims 4 camera. I love the Sims 4 camera. To me, it's so much easier to navigate because you can actually like just sort of click the mouse and move. And especially if you have the little roller ball in the middle of your mouse. Maybe that's why I like it. Maybe if you don't have the little roller ball, then the Sims 4 camera is harder to use. The Sims 3 camera is good to use when I'm trying to like look down at sim level to see exactly what something looks like from eye level. But for the most part, it's 4 camera all the way. Even in gameplay, it's just easier to use with that slight little tilt. So here I'm working on the front exterior. I put chess table. That was one thing I was trying to remember, was to put in skill building items, because I don't think about that when I'm building, because in real life, like, I don't have a chess table. Growing up, we had checkers, but we didn't have a chess table. You have a little checkerboard or a little chessboard that you pull out of the little games closet and things like that. But you know, depending on your play style, you might like to use the chess table to build up your logic skill. I like to just have my sim read the logic book. And of course, I have to have a space for my cat. In a dream house, I would also love to have a dog. I live in an apartment, and I just personally feel like apartments aren't fair on dogs. Not only do I live in an apartment, but I work really crazy hours. So maybe if I worked like a regular 9 to 5, then I'd have a dog. But currently, it's just much easier to have a cat because he just kind of roams around, pees in his litter box. You know, of course, this is his kingdom. This is, you know, where he lives. He owns this place. I simply live here. I put the woodworking table bench out here in the garage, as well as the file arranging table. I will say, in my actual gameplay, if you watch my Happy Messes LP, I'm not using those items, so I got rid of them because I needed a little bit of extra money. So you will not actually see those items in my gameplay. But again, if you download this build, I just try to fit as much skill building items in it as possible so that you didn't have to worry about that. The backyard is coming up, you guys. I think you would have seen me erroneously put that wall decoration on the upstairs landing and then attempt to take it down and then realize I didn't take it down. That gets fixed. Don't worry. Don't freak out. I do get rid of it. And I put a little car outside. And now finally the backyard. The beautiful backyard that it did take me a minute to figure out what I wanted. Like at first it didn't look like there was a whole lot of space, but when I really started to kind of figure out what I wanted, I realized there's way more space. And I can do way more than I was originally planning on doing. Again, I put some gardening things only because my sim self gardens. I personally don't garden and probably never will, but she does mostly garden like food stuff. So that might be something in a dream house, to be able to have your own herbs and maybe certain fruits and vegetables, grow them in your backyard or something. That might be something that I would do IRL. Who knows? And here I go, building my little cool backyard setup. It does sort of transform a little bit after this initial sort of setup here, but I would love, like, I live in an apartment, don't have a backyard, but if I ever did, I would love to have a really cool outdoor backyard entertaining space to go and sit with friends and family and just chill, you know, just relax and chill and eat and enjoy the outside, but it still sort of feels inside, that kind of vibe. But I am coming up on the end of the build. Again, if you want to do that shell challenge that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, follow me on Twitter. It's pinned to the top of my Twitter page. It is due August 14th. That's a Friday. I'll just say, like, no more entries after midnight the 15th. If you enjoyed this build, please let me know by way of pressing the like button. Comment down below what you think of it. Are there any elements that you like, you didn't like? Would you come and visit me in this dream house of mine? And if you haven't already and you want to see more content from me, please subscribe. I try to post every week, and I would love to have you be a part of the Southie family. As always, my name is Cece, and I promise never to break your game. Bye.
You could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid.